You know how we do. A little something make you move, a little something make you good. You know, you do you, I do me. You know. Right now, we're gonna get into this remix. Take it back a little bit, bring it to the present. I will give my all to you. Whatever it is for you to do, I am yours. With this to your people, spread the world across the world. The reason for our being, my all is in your hand. You get the master plan. My prayer is your word prophetically. I will give my all to you. Whatever it is for you to do, I am yours.
City, state, country. Go ahead and type it in. I'm dragging in tonight. Got a lot going on. City, state, country. Let me know where you're tuned in from. Let's get going tonight. We got maybe the live of 2025 coming. I'm excited to talk about tonight. What you got? Michigan. Thank you so much. City, state, or country if you're not from America. Let me know where you're tuned in from. Appreciate you. Excited to be here tonight. And to be back with my soundboard. I need it tonight. Texas, thank you. Greensboro, thank you, Caitlin. Downey, California. Albuquerque, New Mexico. New York, North Carolina. Conyers, Georgia. Napa, California. Always, Shantae, thank you. Memphis, Tennessee. Ohio. Boston. DC. Philly, Dallas, Howell, New Jersey, Connecticut again, Indy, Connecticut again. Wow, Boston, Atlanta, Canada, Ariel, New Jersey, the Ukraine. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Richmond, Hinesville, Georgia. Wow, all the way Russia. Okay. All right. No bots either. These are actual faces. Very good. Chicago, Dallas, Detroit, New Orleans, Atlanta, Montclair, New Jersey, Dallas, Charlotte, South Carolina, Myrtle Beach. All right, y'all rolling tonight. It's going to be good. Hey, you know the rules. Let me know where you're tuning in from and then hit the share button. Let's get the numbers up. TikTok was on fire last week. I'm probably out of the algorithm again. No telling. Watts, California. So let me know where you're tuning in from and then hit the share button. I need you to do that, please. Would really help us get the word out about this live and this information. Somebody needs this tonight. Trust me. Memphis, Queen Creek, Arizona, Alameda, California, Memphis, Tennessee. All right. I don't know. Kansas City, Missouri. I was going to say, I don't know what KCMO is. Queens. Thank you so much. Flint, Michigan, Chesapeake, Fuquay Varina. I know exactly where that is. That's awesome. Queens, New York, Detroit, Dallas. Hey, Valerie from Louisiana. Appreciate you. Conyers, Georgia, Orlando. Thank you so much. Look at TikTok sharing. Thank you. Thank you. Share away. Let's get in that algorithm like we were last week. Miami, Orlando, Covington, Georgia, Richmond, Atlanta, Colonial Heights, VA, Carson, California. Hey, y'all get some tissue. You might need it tonight. I love y'all in advance. It ain't personal. Carson, California again. Atlanta, Colonial Heights, California again. All right, if y'all want me to come to California, just say that. Flint, Michigan, thank you so much. The Bronx, I appreciate you, Z. Good to see you, Zoraida. Flint, Michigan, Waldorf, Maryland, Richmond, Virginia, Houston, Miss Houston, Miami, Covington, Georgia. All right. I don't like these glasses, so we're going to go with something different. Let me find something else. Denver. Hope to get there this fall. Philly twice. Compton, California. Thank you so much for tuning in. All right. Charlotte, Atlanta. Yes, Cali, I'm coming. I promise you. Philly, Sterling, Georgia, DMV. Y'all sharing the video? I don't think y'all are sharing. TikTok is scaling up. Hey, chef. TikTok is scaling up slowly, but getting there. I need you all on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram to share. Tonight, we're going to deal with your depression. It's going to be fun. I hope y'all ready. Hope you got some tissue. Some of y'all going to be offended. New Mexico, thank you. Brampton, Canada, I appreciate you. Philly, again, Philly is really heavy tonight. Thank y'all so much for your support. And thank you for bearing with me. High Point, North Carolina, thank you so much for bearing with me. Just giving me a second to gather what little bit of bearings I do have. I am heading to Chicago tomorrow, and I have not packed a thing. I'm leaving out in the morning. I have not packed anything. I have not had time to pack a thing. Nothing. Nothing. And I leave in the morning. So it's just been busy. I haven't had time to do anything. I had to spend some time with my son before I came on. We were watching Love Island. We've been catching up. And let me just say, let me get this switched over. Hold on one second before I kind of get into it, because I feel like I'm getting ready to no, I'm not cutting short. I'll pack either late tonight. I'll get up early in the morning. I'm gonna be up at 4 a.m. on my Peloton right here that's looking at me. So no, we're gonna get this out tonight. Let me do this. Hold on one second here. Not speaker, mic, RX. Testing one. Testing one. I think I'm back. I don't know what's going on. I have for some reason my microphone, and it wasn't working for my subscribers on Monday, was acting weird, and it's still doing it. And so I don't want to sound like I have a lisp, because y'all don't like to tell people they sound like they got a lisp, and y'all have allowed me to just look crazy for a very long time. And I don't want to do that again. So hold on. I think maybe I'm using the wrong receptor here. And so I really don't want to do that, but I'm going to see if I can get this thing to work. And if I cannot, something's missing. That's why. This is the wrong receptor. Where's my other receptor? I'm really doing this live with y'all on the air, as if y'all not watching me. Where's my other receptor? That's why this isn't working. This is the wrong receptor. Okay, well, sounds like you guys are going to just have to hear the lisp tonight. And that's just what it is, how we get caught in. Yeah, because I've been talking about, I've been doing these lives with this MacBook microphone, and I watched a few of the lives, and I'm talking with the lisp, and nobody told me. And I think that is so crazy. I don't know where is my other receptor. That is really weird. It's a conspiracy. I think y'all would rather hear me talk with a lisp than to let me be great. And that's crazy work. Anyway, well, I can't worry about it. I got to get into this tonight. I know you guys need this, but I really need my microphone. I ain't gonna hold. So we're gonna just have to make do without it. All right. No, I'm not gonna. I don't know where it is. It's no telling. It might be in my one of my bags somewhere. Traveling last week, I feel like I'm kind of like a fish out of water. But it's life. We're gonna make this work. All right. So do me a favor. Go ahead and like the video, share the video if you haven't already. As I said, I have not packed for tomorrow. I'm on the way to Chicago tomorrow. So if you have not received a ticket or grabbed a ticket for tomorrow's or Saturday's tour stop in Chicago, I would highly recommend that you get a ticket right away. Really appreciate those of you that have supported already. And looking forward to engaging with whomever comes. It's going to be great, and excited about the opportunity to be in a place I haven't been in quite a few years. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. That said, definitely make sure you grab a ticket if you haven't already. I want to shout out the Chicago team for all the work they're doing. And yeah, this is going to be cool. Saturday is going to be great, and looking forward to bringing the tour there. We have a very important conversation tonight. I am really tripping off of my mic. I don't know where my receptor is, and that's really, I hate losing stuff. We have a very important conversation tonight, and I like this conversation. I may have left it at the lake, really, seriously. And now I'm really tripping off of this. We have a very serious conversation tonight on depression. And I really want to just kind of debunk some things tonight about this concept of depression, because many people deal with it, many people claim to deal with it. And you'll understand why I say claim in just a second. Um, because I think for many of you, this is a claim and that's all it is. And so that's why I say some of you might be offended tonight. That's okay. I love you anyway. But you know, we're going to tell the truth and somebody's going to be helped tonight. So that's all that matters. And that's what we're here for. Let me shout out quickly all of my subscribers. Inspire Nation, thank you so much. Eagle Nation, those of you that are subscribed via Instagram as well as Patreon, thank you so much for your support. I am teaching right now in the middle of, for the rest of the summer, on how to heal your attachment style. And so this has been a very powerful time, and I'm excited about that. And so if you have not subscribed on IG or Patreon, you might want to do that right away. We've had 2 Mondays in a row dealing with this, and it's been 2 of the best lives I've ever taught. And that says a lot because I've done a lot of lives. But I'm telling you, we're working on healing and repairing our attachment styles, and really breaking this down in bite-sized chunks so that you can get it, and hopefully spend the summer healing something that's very important, and that is how you are attached. So I want to challenge you to support and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. All right, y'all. Internet went out. I don't know what's going on. It could have something to do with the weather here. We've been having some challenges here in North Carolina with internet all week long, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Are we back? I think I'm back. Good. I think I'm back. So I don't know what's up with that. Just bear with us tonight, but we'll get through it. And yeah, it's going to be a great live. Let me say, let's get ready to get into this. I want to challenge you to support the show tonight. Again, thank you, the Logician, for your support. Appreciate you. I want to challenge you to support the show tonight. If you haven't already supported the show, the ways to support the show are on the screen. You may see people drop a salad in the chat. That means that they are supporting the content. And that salad means they're trying to buy me lunch. And so if you support the show, feel free to drop a salad in there and let us know that you've done that. We would greatly appreciate it. Of course, you know how this works if you've been tuned in before. The extent to which the live is supported is the extent to which we'll leave it up. If we don't leave it up, all of our subscribers will be able to review the replay. Thank you, Flora, on TikTok. Yeah, I've been shadow banned. Ironically, I went viral again on Instagram, though I'm shadow banned, and it's hilarious. And this goes to show when you're just yourself, you can't be stopped. So it's really funny. I think it was Tuesday's video. I can't remember. And it's not one of the best videos I've done at all. In fact, I wasn't even really feeling good that day. But it's a different conversation for a different day. Thank you again for your support. Let me say this. Shout out to all of my moderators on all of the networks. Thank you so much for your work. Do me a favor. Do not engage with any birds in the comments. Every now and then you might get somebody that drops in the comments that does not like this content. It's life. It is not a big deal. I don't care about that. The comment section is probably one of the most emotionally draining spaces of my life, if I'm being honest with you, because it really shows the divide between people who do the work and who don't. And you can take that whatever way you want to. And so don't engage with people and trolls in the chat area. I want to shout out all of our moderators on all of the networks that do a really good job of getting them out of the room. And so if you see a crazy cat chat in the comment area, just drop an eagle in the chat area and our moderators will find it and they'll shoot the bird out the sky. That's how we do it. All right. So thank you so much for your support. Grab your journal. I want you to put in the comments and in your journal tonight's topic, defeating depression. Let's talk about it. I want to talk tonight about defeating depression, and I'm going to help you do exactly that if that's what you want to do. And it's important that I say if that's what you want to do, because what I do know from the bat is that many of you don't want to defeat depression. Many of you want to be depressed. Oh my God. Because many of you love labels, and you love to put labels on everything that you deal with, including depression. Why? Because depression helps you feel better about yourself. Depression helps you feel sorry for yourself and encourages other people to feel sorry for you too. So some of you tonight, even tonight's message won't be enough to save you, because you can't save nobody that don't want to be saved. Oh my God. Some of you like being miserable. Some of you like carrying the title of depression. Some of you are so easily triggered. Let me tell you something. If I trigger you tonight, you're telling a lie. I don't know you. I was doing a presentation. This is a good introduction to share. I was doing a presentation for an organization, I'd say about a year or two ago. And a lady raised her hand in the back and she didn't like something that I said. I was using an analogy to talk about something. And she didn't like something that I said, the analogy that I used. And I was using food as an example for something. And she was talking about interviewing and greed, and how, if you know anything about interviewing etiquette, if you clean off your plate on an interview, it's considered to be greedy. It doesn't mean you are. Interviewing is all about impression, right? So it's not that you are actually greedy, but it's all about impressions. And so when you've taught things like interviewing skills and business etiquette, things like that, and I've taught those courses before, it's kind of how I got my start in this space. You understand that when you're on a business interview and you eat everything on your plate and clean your plate, it gives the impression of greed. And so I talked about that. Well, this lady raised her hand in the middle of this, in my presentation, and said, "Hey, Dr. Talley, I appreciate that analogy or example. You're really good at this, but I'm really triggered. You just triggered me." I said, how did I trigger you, ma'am? She said, because, I used to have an eating disorder. And so when I heard you talk about people being perceived as greedy because they clean their plate, that triggered me. You triggered me. I said, ma'am, I don't know you.
Oh my God.
Right. Yeah. In front of about 300 people. Ma'am, I don't know you. So how can you trigger somebody you don't know? Room was kind of quiet. Another student raised their hand and said, yeah, I think, ma'am, you're taking that a little too far. He's just using an example to draw a parallel between greed, given the situation that, he was in. And he just used, food as an opportunity to draw the parallel. Another student raised their hand and said, yeah, I agree with Doc and with that person, the other student, if that wasn't that. And I thanked the lady. I said, thank you for your comment. I appreciate it. But, I know this is a room filled with counselors, certified counselors. I don't believe in that philosophy. I can't trigger a stranger. What I can do is say something that wakes up something inside of you that you need to deal with.
Oh my God.
So before any of you report this video and say I triggered you, please understand, all I'm doing is waking up something that's probably inside of you because I don't know you. I'm so sick of the word trigger. Tired of it. I start with that to say this. Many of you don't know what depression is and what depression is not. And we're going to start there. Okay? I want to walk you through this and let me give you a frame of reference here. The frame of reference and the purpose for me walking you through this the way I am about to is connected to the fact that I've helped at least 4 to 5 dozen. Dozen means 12. 4 times 12 is 48. 5 times 12 is 60. If I went through all of my data and my notes, I can give you an exact number. Anywhere from 48 to 60 people who were clinically, quote unquote, depressed, placed on medication, get completely off the medication, and they're doing just fine. And what I'm about to walk you through is the same thing I've walked at least 4 to 5 dozen people through that now are no longer taking their medication. Now, some of you want your medication. And if you do, take it.
Oh my God.
Because you can't free nobody that don't want to be. I need you to put that in the chat. That's your first note. I can't be free if I don't want to be free. And some of you are so victim mentality. You have such a victim mentality that you're going to die in your misery before you come out of it. This is why I started off with the example about being triggered. Some people love to live as a victim. And if you love to live in the victim, click off. Go find somebody else that can talk nicely to you. The reason my work works, the reason why my work works is because I say things that other counselors, therapists, coaches, whatever your title is, I say things that other people won't to your face, virtually and in person. If you met me on tours, it's no different. It's worse. So if you want to be a victim, this is going to be hard tonight. If you don't want to be a victim, this is going to be a lot of fun. Now, let me say this to you. We have to dive into what depression is and what depression is not, so that we can eventually walk into how to solve this. All right. So let me just give you some layers of things, grab your notes, record some things. First, let me give you a quick recap of the 5 stages of grief. Let's start there. This is going to make sense. I'm going to make it all make sense. You're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler tomorrow. Let's start with the 5 stages of grief. I can hear my lisp through this. I'm so mad I can't find my microphone thing. This is really wearing me out. Let's start with the 5 stages of grief. Okay? I don't know why it sounds like a lisp through this MacBook thing. This is wild. The 5 stages of grief. Stage 1, denial. Stage 1, denial. Y'all writing this down? 5 stages of grief. Stage 1, denial. You know what that means? What it says. It means denial. Before I get into the stages, hold on. Let's define grief. Let me back up because I'm a little excited. Let me back up. Let me define grief really quick, and then let's go through the stages. I skipped a step, okay? Grief, definition of grief. My definition of grief, that's very simple. Simply means to process the loss of anything. Let's start there. Write that in the chat. Grief, as defined, as Doc defines it, is to process the loss of anything. So when a person says, I'm grieving, they are processing the loss of something. What this means is simple, that when you lose something, you have to grieve in order to properly understand the magnitude of your loss. Okay? When you lose something, you must grieve in order to properly understand, process the magnitude of the loss. You can lose anything, and it doesn't matter what you lose. When loss is involved, grief is necessary. When loss is involved, grief is necessary. Record it. Come on, put it in the chat. Hurry. When loss is involved, grief is necessary, which means if you've gone through things in your life that you've lost, or experienced things in your life that you've lost, or gone through situations that have included loss, and you have not processed that loss, it's a good chance you haven't grieved. Well, if there's a chance that you haven't grieved, there's a good chance that you're going to be dealing with the lingering effects or the stages of grief while you attempt to function as a normal human being. Are y'all with me? So when you hear people say stuff like, oh, they're functioning depressed, they have functioning depression, where they can function, but they're depressed. The easiest way to understand that is that it's more than they're just depressed. They're functioning without having processed grief. This is the better way to get it. I need y'all to hear me. The better way to get this is that they are attempting to process life and function in life without processing the loss that created depression. I'm going to explain what depression is in a second. Just give me a second. Okay? So, grief simply means to process the loss of anything. When you lose anything in your life, you got to process it. If you don't process it, you run the risk of creating issues that you probably didn't sign up for because you haven't processed the loss. Is this making sense? Okay? Now, let's get to the 5 stages of grief. I thought I found me some paper here. I missed my paper. I missed my soundboard. I just miss it. I'm going to start traveling with my soundboard. Wake up the people in the hotel and Airbnbs. Let's talk about the 5 stages of grief. Stage 1, denial. Y'all supporting the show? Stage 1, denial. It is what it sounds like. That when you go through the loss of something, it is not uncommon to not believe you've lost it. Denial can best be described or connected to ideas of, say, shock. Someone passes. Someone, you lose a family member, a relative dies. It's not abnormal to feel a sense of shock that you don't even really believe it's true. Okay? So denial, stage 1 of grief. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the stages. Stage 2, anger. Simple enough. It sounds like what it is, or it is what it sounds like. Anger. You lose something, you might be mad about it. You might be upset about it. You might be pissed off about it. That is normal. It is a part of the grieving process. That one of the stages that you should experience when you process the loss of anything might be some level of anger. That's normal. Denial. That's normal. Stage 3, one of my favorite stages to talk about. I did a live on the 5 stages of grief, and stage 3 is one of my favorite stages to talk about, and it's called bargaining, because it is a stage that a lot of people don't spend a lot of time talking about because they really can't explain it, number 1, and number 2, they don't realize the depths of what bargaining does. Bargaining is actually a stage that more people spend a lot more time in than what you would believe. And let me explain bargaining really simply. Bargaining, think, let's make a deal. When you go through the bargaining phase of grief, you've lost something, you're trying to process it. This is the phase where you start saying to yourself, man, if I had done this, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Or if they wouldn't have done this, maybe that wouldn't have happened. Or if I would have done this differently, then maybe this wouldn't have happened, right? Think terms like survivor's remorse, right? I always draw the parallel to the show or to the movie Titanic, that when that ship is going down, you have several people, characters in that movie that reflect different ways to process what they are losing. And you have characters in that movie that are very much in the bargaining phase. Wow, if we had done this, we wouldn't be here. We had done this, we would have been here. Or you have people that got off the boat that feel bad about the people that stayed on it. Survivor's remorse. Bargaining is very powerful because when you're in the bargaining phase of grief, you will start coming up with ways to try to convince yourself that there was something you could have done to cause the loss not to take place. And a lot of times, y'all, yes, sometimes that is true. Let's be honest. You make a mistake. I'm just going to use this as an easy example. You cheat on someone, they leave you, and you grieve the loss of that relationship. If you're in the bargaining phase, you may think to yourself, I should have never cheated. This is an easy example. I should have never cheated. I should have been honest. I should not have stepped out. Bargaining in that regard is very much merited. So there are cases and times where bargaining is merited, particularly if there's some accountability, responsibility that you can take in whatever it is that you've lost. But a lot of times, y'all, I can't give you a percentage. I can just say in my work, I've seen a lot of times people are trying to come up with things that they could have done differently to justify loss, when a lot of times there's nothing you can do, especially when it comes to other grown people. Let me help some of y'all. Some of y'all grieving people that you're trying to control, and that's why you in grief.
Oh my God.
If you are grieving the loss of somebody that left you that didn't want to stay, you are officially trying to process and justify the loss of someone that don't want to be there. Say that out loud.
Oh my God.
How crazy does it sound? To be trying to process and bargain with yourself what you could have done to make somebody stay who wanted to go.
Oh my God.
This is why when clients come to me and they boo-hooing, oh my God, Johnny wants to leave. Oh my God, Susie wants to go. No, oh my God, Susie wants to go. Oh my God, Johnny wants to leave. I let them have a moment. And then I ask them, I say, what was your fault in this situation? Well, I did this, I did this. Oh, I did this, I did this. Okay, did you take accountability, responsibility for it? Yes. Yes. Great. and they still want to leave? Yes. Yes. What you processing? If they still want to leave, what are you processing? I ain't cussing yet. What you processing? Thank you, Miss French Fries. I appreciate you. I'll tell you what you're processing. You are processing delusion. And I hate to break the news to many of you, but if I'm being honest, many of you are simply just processing delusion. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less than delusion. So anytime you lose anything, you can grieve it. Okay? Now, I want to say this. And I want to make this crystal clear. Let me say this and make this crystal clear. Hold on. Oh boy. Oh my God. There we go. I want to make this crystal clear. This doesn't mean you can't hurt. This doesn't mean you can't feel a kind of way when you experience loss. But y'all, how can you be going back and forth with your mind? I'm in the bargaining phase. How can you be going back and forth in your mind about what you could have done different? About a person who wants to leave? And you have taken accountability, responsibility for your part. How can you be processing that as bargaining? Can you feel bad? Sure. But how can you be processing that? When we try to process delusion, we have officially reached a new low. I want you to put this in the chat in all capital letters, and I don't care who gets offended. Stop processing delusion. Delusion does not need to be processed. Oh my God. Delusion does not need to be processed. Oh my God, I don't like this guy because he just really talks to us any kind of way. He's not gentle. Well, then go over there with gentle Susie and let her help you. When you come to me delusional, I'm going to give you a moment, but we're not going to live in that. Stop processing delusion. And some of this stuff that you are calling processing loss really ain't loss. Sis, he been disconnected for the last 3 years. Bro, me and my son were sitting here laughing, watching Love Island and going back and forth. And I need somebody to put me on one of these shows. Just one time. I'm going to fix every relationship on there. And it ain't going to take but one episode. Because the amount of delusion on that show is insanity. Hey, bro, you crying over somebody that just left you, that had somebody else, his tongue was all down her throat for the last 15 minutes, and you crying because you got to go? Oh, my God. And that's how some of y'all look processing what you call loss when it's really delusion. Some of you ain't processing loss, you processing delusion. And that's why your emotions are spiraling out of control. I don't know who the producers are. Y'all just tag my page a couple times. It ain't gonna take but one appearance. I'll clean the whole show off. Oh my God. Are y'all listening? Does this make sense? Let's go further. Y'all ready? Watch. So, stage 3 of grief, bargaining. Stage 4, depression. I'm coming back to that. Just give me a second. I'm not going to touch that yet. I'm coming back. Stage 4 of grief, depression. I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to explain it because that's the point of tonight's live. Stage 5 is acceptance. Y'all writing this down? I am. Stage 5, acceptance. 5 stages of grief right there. Now, before I explain what depression is, Lord, I feel like a fish out of water. Like I ain't been at my desk all week, and I clearly have been at my desk all week long. Before I get into stage 4 depression, let me say something about the stages of grief really quickly. And I think the live where I did this live on the 5 stages of grief, I think it's still up. Let me explain this really quickly so you understand. Hey, y'all like the video, share the video and support. Y'all not supporting. Let me explain this really quickly about these stages. I believe that when you are processing grief, you can bounce back and forth from stage 1, 2, 3, and 4 like a ping pong ball. You might get broke up with, and instead of going to denial, you might go right to bargaining. Or you might get broke up with, I'm just using this as an example. Somebody might leave you, and you might go right to depression. Or somebody might leave you, you might go right to anger, and then back to depression, and then to denial, and then to bargaining, and then to denial, and then to depression. You're going to bounce back and forth like a ping pong ball between stages 1 through 4. And you don't necessarily start at stage 1. Okay? However, if and but, watch. This is what Doc believes. A lot of clinicians, counselors, therapists, coaches don't agree with this. Okay? Let me make that statement really quickly before some of y'all get your panties in a bunch. I don't believe that when you get to acceptance, you go back to the other stages. I don't believe that when you get to acceptance, you go back to anger. You know why? Because if you really accepted it, what you mad for? Oh my God. If you really accepted it, why are you still depressed? Oh my God. No, Doc. You can't do that, Doc, because grief, healing is not linear, Doc. Healing is a journey that lasts for a lifetime. Okay, so when you break your foot, is it broke forever? No, seriously. When you break your foot, is it broke forever? Huh? You break your arm, is it broke forever? It ain't. Your arm, your neck, your leg, your whatever can get to a place where it is healed. If your leg gets to a place of being healed, and let's call stage 5 acceptance healed, why would you go right back to anger? Well then, Doc, what if I have a moment? What if I feel like I've grieved it and I feel like I've accepted it and then something happens that pisses me off? Then guess what? You weren't in acceptance. You just had a few good days. Oh my God. You just had a few good days. Now, it doesn't mean you have to be emotionless about what you have accepted. I'll talk about that when I get to the emotions portion of tonight. It doesn't mean you have to be emotionless, but let me tell you something. If you think you have accepted a loss you processed, but you find yourself getting mad still about it, when you think about it, you probably have not accepted it. Acceptance is not about liking what you lost. It's about being okay with it. Record that. That was salad worthy. Acceptance is not about liking what you lost. It's about being okay with it. Acceptance, y'all. You know why I know many of you aren't in acceptance? Not only because you keep going back to the other stages of grief. Let me tell you why many of you are not in acceptance. Because acceptance, guess what, y'all? You're not going to like this. Acceptance is a spiritual principle. Oh my God. And when you ain't got no spiritual foundation, it's hard for you to accept loss. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Here come the crickets. When I say to you that acceptance means you don't like what happened, but you okay with it, that doesn't make logical sense. Go through the 5 areas of healing. Does that make mental sense? No. It doesn't make mental sense for you to say to me, Doc, that when I accept something, that simply means it's not that I like it, I'm okay with it. That doesn't make sense in my mind. Well, how does that make your emotions feel? That don't make your emotions feel either. When you tell me to not be okay that I've lost a relationship, or to not like that I've lost a relationship, but to be okay with it, emotionally that doesn't settle well. So it ain't mental, it ain't emotional. Guess what it's got to be? Spiritual. And some of you, here's the breaking news, are shut and locked in depression because you don't have the spiritual foundation to get into acceptance. Oh my God. I'm about to get into stage 4. We're going to talk about this. But I'm doing this in reverse order. Some of you will never get here until you get here. You will never get to acceptance until you get a spiritual foundation. I can tell you another word you can substitute for acceptance. That's not in the official stages of grief philosophy, the original one, but another word you can accept for it, put in parentheses down here. It's called contentment. What does it mean to be content? I'll tell you what it means to be content. It means to not be okay with where you are or to be satisfied with where you are, but it means being okay with it. I don't like the fact that I'm single, but I'm good with it. I don't like the fact that I lost a loved one, but I'm good with it. I don't like the fact that I lost my job, but I'm good with it. That's called contentment. And if you ain't got no spiritual foundation, you can't be content. If you can't be content, you can't operate in acceptance. If you can't operate in acceptance, it makes sense for you to be depressed. I'd be depressed too if I could never be okay with my situation. Oh my God. Y'all got that tissue? I would be depressed too if I did not grow a spiritual foundation to be able to be okay with what life is giving to me. And this is why book number 6 or 5, breaking news, pre-sales for book number 5. Don't make it happen, let it go, start next week. It is right on par with 5 areas of healing, if not better. But let me tell you something. You're not going to get through that book if you don't have a spiritual foundation or you don't want one. Because the stuff I'm talking about in that book is going to sound like a foreign language. Because letting go, like acceptance, spiritual. And this is why many of you have been stuck in depression forever. Because you ain't got no spiritual foundation to let go. You don't have a spiritual foundation to accept. And tonight, we're going to build the foundation to get you there. Hey, y'all not supporting this show. KP, Starburst, thank you so much for your support. KP and Starburst support every single week. I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all better support this show. I'm going to share this with subscribers and find out how to get this to KP and Starburst. I mean it. Letting go like acceptance is spiritual, y'all. Okay? So I believe, and a lot of clinicians don't. They think, you can be in grief for the rest of your life. I don't. It's possible. Sure you can. You can hit the lottery 10 times. Anything's possible, but it ain't healthy. And I don't believe that you go back to any of stages 1 through 4 if you reach stage 5. So let's deal with stage 4. Let's talk about it. Depression. Let me give you the definition of depression. You ready? Stage 4 of grief, depression, simply means deep sadness. Deep sadness. Great question, Josh Shalin, the healer. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that at the end. I'm going to give you some examples of what that looks like. Very good question. I appreciate you. I do. Depression means deep sadness. That's it. That's it. Depression means deep sadness. Doc, that's it? That's all depression is? Yeah. Doc, no, doc. No, doc. Depression is deeper than that. It is. It is when a traumatic experience. I had to tell a client recently, stop using all these deep words. You ain't doing nothing but creating more delusion. Stop. No, depression is deep madness that is triggered by a traumatic excursion on an island. Cut it out. Depression at its core means deep sadness. Watch this. Clinical depression is not grief depression. Clinical depression is not grief depression. The depression connected to grief is not the same as the depression connected to clinical depression that many of you have been diagnosed with, that many of you are on medication for right now. If you got your medication, just put it on the table in front of you. You ready? To be clinically depressed means deep sadness that impacts your ability to function. That's all depression is, deep sadness. But clinical depression is depression, or deep sadness rather, that impacts your ability to function. So when a person is clinically depressed and they give you antidepressants, you're on antidepressant meds, they have deemed that your sadness is of such that it impedes your ability to do day-to-day tasks. Let me give you some examples. Get out of bed, overeat, not shower, skip work, not answer your phone, stay in the bed, close all the curtains, stay under the cover, go days without showering and bathing, not brushing your teeth, not going to work, quitting your job, breaking up with people randomly because of a life event. I'm just mouthing off some things that I've heard in the many years of experience that I have. When you are clinically depressed, you will stop functioning and doing normal function things. Why is that important? Guess what? Thank you, Corley. Rita. Let me tell you why that's important. Here's the breaking news. If loss is normal, listen to me. If loss is normal, and when we go through loss, we experience depression. Depression is also what? Normal. If grief requires you to experience deep sadness, and loss or grief is to process loss, and loss happens to all of us, then depression is normal. I don't see no comments, so I'm giving y'all a chance to absorb. If I were you, I would share this with a buddy of yours that walk around all day talking about something they depressed and they got anxiety all day. Let's go deeper. You ready for this? We said that grief is processing loss. And a part of processing loss is dealing with depression. And depression is deep sadness. So that makes depression normal. So then what about clinical depression, doc? You ready for this? I want you to be honest. This is going to be breaking news. This, what I'm about to say, I never call out numbers. I don't, because I ain't in the fundraising, but I'm doing good. My business is doing fine. Okay? I'm just doing just fine. But y'all are going to support this because you're going to stop getting free therapy on Thursdays. What I'm about to explain and say to you is going to be so simple and life-changing that probably 50 of you should buy me lunch. 50 of you need to hit this Cash App for what I'm about to say. Let me walk you back and then walk you forward all the way. Grief is processing loss. Part of processing loss is experiencing depression, which is deep sadness, which makes depression normal. If depression is a normal part of the processing loss process. But watch this. Y'all ready? So what about clinical depression? Doc, what about the depression that impacts your ability to function? Let's take a poll. I want you to put in the chat, if you have ever experienced loss in your life that was so deep that it kept you from doing for a period of time. It could have been an hour. It could have been a day. It could have been 4 hours. It could have been a week. It could have been a month. It could have been. If you have experienced a deep sadness that kept you from doing something that you normally do, brush your teeth, wash, eat, that's a big one. Go outside, you stayed in the house. If you have done that, I want you to put a 1 in the chat. Go ahead, put a 1 in the chat. Just do what I tell you to do. Put a 1 in the chat. Look at that. Y'all ready for the breaking news? You ready for the breaking news? Grief is processing loss. Depression is a part of the grieving process. Depression means to be deeply sad. That makes depression normal. But clinical depression is when your sadness is so deep that you stop doing things that you normally do because of that deep sadness. Y'all, depression is normal, but guess what? Clinical depression is more common than what you think. By definition, everybody that put a 1 in the chat is clinically depressed. By definition, everybody that put a 1 in the chat, you're clinically depressed. So let me ask you something. Now that we've established that most people are clinically depressed and don't even know it, why do y'all think this is such a big deal? I'll tell you why. Look at y'all. Look, some of y'all are shook. No, you ain't got to climb out of it. I'm about to throw you out of it. You ain't got to climb. Oh my God. I'm about to throw some of y'all out of there. If most of you put a 1 that you have gone through deep sadness that has stopped your ability to function and do the normal functioning things that you do every day, by definition, you're clinically depressed. Well, then if most of you are clinically depressed and don't even know it, why do you think this is the case? I'll tell you why. Because depression, like narcissist, like gaslight, like manipulator, like trauma bond, like all of these words we throw out there, we have put these words on a pedestal and don't realize that those words only have the power that we give them. Yeah, I'm making the argument that many of you treat the word depression like you treat narcissists. And y'all know how y'all feel about narcissism. Oh, Doc, I'll do a video. Doc, this was great content, but it doesn't work on a narcissist. Not my narcissist, Doc. No, Doc, I agree with you. Set boundaries, they work, but boundaries don't work for a narcissist. Says who? Says who? Mr. or Miss Clinically Depressed says who? Now that I've determined that you're clinically depressed, how you going to convince me that the stuff that I teach don't work on narcissists? You can't. Because what I've proven tonight is what I've been saying for the last 3-4 years on these lives. That most of you put this stuff on a pedestal because you don't understand it. And you have been giving it more power than what it belongs to it. Watch this. Record this now. When you normalize depression, you can beat the emotions associated with it. Put that in the chat right now. When you normalize depression, you can beat the emotions associated with it. And what I just did was normalize what y'all call depression. Come on, hurry, put it in the chat. Come on, you can do it. Put your back into it. When you normalize depression, you can beat the emotions associated with it. Doc, what are you trying to say? I'm trying to say that many of you are taking meds because you're treating that medication the same way you treat narcissists, as invincible. You're treating depression the same way you treat narcissism, as invincible. This is a plague and a disease that can't be shaken. And that's because you haven't normalized depression. And I just made it very normal for you. I just proved that everybody deals with grief depression when you experience loss. But most of you who have laid in the bed for hours because you didn't want to get up because you got broke up with were actually functioning depressive. Functionally depressed. And by definition, you're clinically depressed. And just about everybody on this live put a 1 in the chat. So you tell me, how you then been living, working, married, raising kids, doing all the stuff that you're doing, but you have an occasional bout here and there where the sadness overwhelms you to the point where you don't feel like doing anything, or you don't want to eat, or you don't want to watch TV, or you don't want to be around people. And it's a span of something that might happen for a second or a day or for 5 hours and then it goes away. And why are you walking around talking about you depressed? And you deal with depression and you battling depression. No, baby, you had a moment. You are having moments. And you need to master the art of mastering and managing the emotions that are associated with deep sadness so you can quit treating depression the way some of you treat narcissism. You put it on a pedestal. Cut it out. And guess what? You do the same thing to anxiety. You do the same thing to manipulators. You do the same thing to gaslighting. You do the same crap. Is the mic on? I know I'm talking with a lisp because my regular mic ain't working tonight. Y'all just gonna have to laugh at me this episode. The mic on? And this is why many of you are in therapy for years. This is why many of you have been taking Zoloft for the last 10 years. Because you have been convinced that depression is a superpower. It ain't. Depression is more normal than what you think it is. And clinical depression, by definition, is almost as normal grief depression. Because, baby, when you get broke up with and you lose your appetite for days, is it normal for you not to eat for days? No. You bounce up out of it, don't you? Yeah. Well, some of us. And many of you go running to a doctor to get medication. You know why? Because it's sexy to say you're depressed. Don't y'all be smarty arts. I depressed do. I do intermittent fasting every day. I don't eat before 2 or 3 o'clock every day. Y'all get what I'm talking about. Does this make sense? Y'all ready? The first step to normalizing depression is identifying your level of self-awareness. Let's start breaking this stuff right now. Y'all supporting the show? The first step to normalizing depression is identifying your level of self-awareness. You want to beat depression? This depression you think you got? I want you to ask yourself a simple question. When you feel deep down sad and in the dumps, whether it's just deep sadness or it is deep sadness that keeps you from going to work, keeps you from, hanging out with family like you normally do, keeps you from being in spaces and doing things that you normally do. When you are dealing with all of that stuff, let me ask you a simple question. Are you able to be aware enough to realize that you're not your normal self? Are you able to be self-aware enough to realize that you're not functioning as your normal self? If the answer is yes, it's beatable. And it's funny. I'm doing my notes and I'm thinking about this, right? And I'm just like, let me give these people some proof of this. Because people, it's really that simple. Like somebody put in TikTok, so simple. It is. And I laugh at people. I laugh at counselors and therapists and coaches that have y'all on a string for a year. I don't have no client that I've seen for 3, 4, 5 years. Not one. It don't take that long. It don't. And I laugh because many of you are on a string in counseling and therapy for 5, 10, 15 years over something that's really simple. And I was thinking about this. Recognizing that something is wrong is a great sign of self-awareness. When you are so sad that you realize you're not being yourself, that's a great sign. Listen to me. It is a great sign when you are so down and sad and out that you realize, man, I'm not my normal self. I was telling a client last week, I think it was, or this week. I was telling a client who was dealing with this. She threw away her meds. She finally got on my calendar. She put her meds on the counter in front of the camera while she was talking to me. And she said, Doc, I just wanted to be sure. I couldn't believe I was even on a call with you. I got on your calendar. We did one session. She cried for half the session. She said, yep, this is all the proof I need to do. And she, right on the camera, opened her milk pill box, brought a trash can over and dumped it in trash and threw it in trash. She ain't been on it since. I talked to her, it was either last week or week before. And we were laughing about this. And I had to remind her, I said, ma'am, do you remember when you said to me, she used to always say this phrase to me, Doc, I'm not right now. I'd be like, what you mean by that? She's like, Doc, I just, there were times where I was going through my sadness or depression, but I had enough awareness to know I wasn't right now. Like, I'm not right. And family members would be like, what's wrong? And I would just be like, I don't know. I'm just not right now. I said, ma'am, when you can acknowledge that you ain't right, you have enough self-awareness to beat it. I only worry about people with deep sadness that has impacted their ability to function when they don't have the self-awareness to know something is wrong. But if you have the self-awareness to recognize and acknowledge that something's wrong, you have enough awareness to beat it. Oh my God. You have enough self-awareness to beat it. Here's the thing. Because I hear this all the time. I'm not right now, Doc. I just feel a little off. That's another famous phrase. If you've ever said that, I just feel a little off. Except these are indicators that you have enough self-awareness to address it. Which means you ain't far gone enough to where you just got to be that dependent on that medication. Now, again, to not take or take a medication has to be a personal decision. Let me make that very clear here. But understand this. If you got the self-awareness to realize that you're not right, then you have actually the first step necessary with some tools to move out of that space. Depression, y'all, only has the superpower you give to it. So how can we measure this? Record this. Yeah, doctors like to write prescriptions. They get a kickback. I've never been interested in being in the prescription business, the insurance business, not at all. And I know that bothers somebody. Doc, you don't take insurance. No, I don't even want to get in that. Absolutely not. Nope. I know my limit. I know where I am and what I'm qualified to do. That's enough for me. I talk too much junk. I've been and got shut down and boards wrote up me up. No, I'm not doing that. Nope. You want to know a way to tap into this self-awareness? Start with this. Ask yourself this. How healthy are my emotions? How healthy are my emotions? Because this is a very critical measuring point. When you experience loss, when you go through anything that makes you sad, thank you so much, Leanne. That's one of my clients. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. So proud of you. When you experience loss, it is healthy to have an emotional reaction. In fact, the opposite is worse. I have clients right now that are working through some emotional trauma from their childhood that is so bad that when bad things happen to them, they have no reaction. That's when we deal with people that are emotionally numb. And being numb is never a good idea because the numbness has to wear off. No different than being swollen. No different than being infected and something rises and it looks like it's safe. No, that stuff got to wear off eventually. One way to beat this is to measure your emotions. And I want to say this about emotions when you're dealing with depression, deep sadness. When you're dealing with deep sadness, emotions may not completely disappear. But when you're processing them in a healthy way, they should not be as prevalent as they used to be. I want to say this again. When you're dealing with emotions as a result of a loss that you're processing, as you process loss, those emotions may not be completely disappear. Why, y'all? We just said that depression was normal. Is it or is it not normal to cry when somebody dies? Is it not normal to be upset when you go through a divorce? This is normal. However, but when you are going through and processing your emotions as a result of processing the loss, while your emotions may not disappear, they will not be as prevalent as they used to be. And you're going to know that you're making progress. Which means, record this in all capital letters, your emotions are only as healthy as your thoughts. Your emotions are only as healthy as your thoughts. Which means if your thoughts are a mess, your emotions are going to be a mess. This should sound familiar. Y'all should know what I'm getting ready to draw. Y'all should know what I'm getting ready to draw. Beliefs, arrow, thoughts, arrow, emotions, arrow, behavior, circle it all, and this is what changes your life. I'm going to post this if y'all support. Y'all not supporting this show. I told you this was going to be a good one. And I still got a lot of notes to go. But we're going to get through it tonight. Y'all, did we not just demonstrate this? What was the belief I changed tonight? I challenged your belief on what? Depression. Now some of y'all can quit walking around talking about, child, I'm depressed, child. I'm depressed. I'm just battling depression. You ain't battling nothing. You're not battling nothing that's normal.
Oh my God.
Stop telling people you battling depression. You're not battling nothing that's normal. I know some of y'all cussing me out under your breath. You not battling nothing that's normal. Stop saying it. Stop. And what we've done tonight, I think in a very thorough way, hopefully you guys will be able to watch the replay, is we have changed our beliefs around depression. That depression is just deep sadness, and clinical depression is deep sadness that impacts our ability to function. And most people deal with clinical depression whether they realize they do or not. The matter is whether or not you stay there. So when you complete or correct your beliefs, then all of a sudden, your thoughts are different. And when your thoughts are different, your emotions are different. And emotions are only as healthy as your thoughts. Plain and simple. Now, this is the second time I've seen the question. I want to pause my notes here. I'm going to get back to it. But the second time I've seen this question, I've seen it on Instagram once or twice. I've seen it on Facebook or YouTube. I'm not sure which one once. And I just saw it on TikTok. So let me address this really quickly. Can you talk, Doc, about depression from hormone imbalance from meds? Absolutely. Medication can create hormone imbalance, right? We know that, right? If you know anything about medication and the effects of medication on your body, you recognize that medication can have all kinds of effects on your body, up to and including hormonal imbalance, right? The greatest recommendation that I've given to people that have had experiences with medication impacting their ability or impacting their ability, to manage their emotions to a point where they feel depressed. The best advice that I've given to people that are on medication that is impacting their ability to be depressed or not be depressed or manage their depression or their deep sadness is to seriously consider taking a step back and looking at the medication and talking with your doctor, him or her, about alternative medications or approaches to healing. Now, many of you are not going to like this. And the reason why many of you are not going to like this is because you think medication is the end all be all. That's not my that's not my school of thought. It's not how I live my life. And I'm not criticizing anybody that does live their life that way. You have to go according to what you believe and where you are. Thank you so much for your support, Nicola. You have to go according to where you are. But this is what I know, and this is what the science tells us. The body has the ability to heal itself. The body has the ability to heal itself of literally anything. And when you start talking like that, that's danger to the medicine companies, the pharmaceutical companies, insurance companies. Don't talk like that. The body has the ability to heal itself. So if you just have to have medication, but the medication that you are taking is causing hormonal imbalance that is impacting your ability to process your deep sadness, talk to your doctor about an alternative medicine, or perhaps some natural remedies or holistic remedies that can get you there. That may help you. Now, this is going to require an element of trust and faith on your end. It's also going to require some work. because it ain't just the medicine sometimes that do this stuff. And this is just based on experience with clients that I've had. Yes, the medicine can be a big part of it, but also, and somebody just literally I looked up and there it is. Somebody just put it in TikTok. Medicine only treats the issue, not the root cause. It doesn't. It never gets to the root. I'm reading a book right now. I'm going to start my Amazon book list real soon. Because many people ask, Doc, what are you reading? And I've got a couple of books in rotation right now. But I'm reading a book right now that's powerful, that talks about this. And it really just validates things that I've always felt about medicine, particularly in the context of your physical healing. Your body can heal itself, but medicine only creates the symptoms, not the cause. It only does. But there are other things that work in concert with that medicine, like diet, like exercise, like nutrition, because nutrition and diet aren't necessarily the same. That if you have a poor diet and poor nutrition and you're taking these medicines for these challenges, and you put all these things together, just think about putting all of this stuff in a big old pot and mixing it. Sometimes you end up with a mess on your hand. Okay? So that's the best advice, all right? I hope I answered that okay, right? Because several of you asked that. But that's the best advice I can give you on that. Because those things can work in concert with your medication when you have hormonal imbalance challenges that are impacting your sadness and your mood and things like that. You talk to people, I know women, obviously, that have been on, say, like birth control. The shot is a big, there's a lot of research and articles and research done about the shot. I think it's called the depot shot. I can't remember. The shot that you take, birth control, and the medical side effects or the physical side effects that's had on women. I know women that have been, say, on the shot or certain birth control meds, that it changes their moodiness and it impacts their appetite and it impacts their energetic levels. It impacts all of those things. This stuff is really real. So are you saying, Doc, don't be on birth control? No, if you need to be on birth control, be on birth control. But think about alternative approaches to that, so that you don't sacrifice your mood for a shot. Yeah, I believe that. Somebody said there's a class action lawsuit about that. I know I'm not making this. There's a lot of research out about the depot shot. I know a woman who ended up having a stroke as a result of the depot shot. I hope I'm saying it right. I don't know if I'm saying it right or not. I know a woman that had a stroke because of that, sitting in the bathtub. And it was traced back to her birth control. So I'm saying to you, yes to birth control, but no to any medication that influences your mood or puts your body in danger. That's next. Look, y'all. Everybody not going to agree with that. I'm fine. Does that make sense? Okay? So emotions are only as healthy as your thoughts. That said, I want you to record this now. You will never be able to suppress thoughts in a healthy way. Record it. Y'all, I swear you're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler all day tomorrow and all next week after this live. Y'all support the show. I need more of you to support this show. Record this again. You will never be able to suppress thoughts in a healthy way. I'm going to tell you what many of you are doing. Many of you are processing loss, or when situations happen in your life, again, because we all grieve. Anytime a major life event occurs that involves loss of any kind, if you lose a job, you need to grieve it. Sometimes you're grieving the people you used to work with. You grieving the routine you used to have. You're grieving the money you lost, whatever. When you're grieving the loss of anything, you're going to deal with sadness, deep sadness. But what most people do, and I proved that tonight by making y'all type 1 if you've ever participated in behaviors related to clinical depression without the diagnoses, which says to me that if you participated in the behaviors connected to clinical depression and did not know you were, but was still able to go to work for the most part, still able to eat, still able to function, still able to do the things you were doing, that at some point or another, you chose thought suppression as a way of managing your emotions. And you will never be able to suppress your thoughts and have healthy emotions. Doesn't work that way. It's like oil and water. Let me explain and let me give you an analogy that's going to make this make crystal clear sense. You ready? I connect thought suppression to a beach ball in a swimming pool. Let me explain this. I've explained this to several clients. I explained it to a client one day this week. She just lost her mind. Doc, I cannot believe you made that connect. Hear me out. If you have ever been guilty of suppressing your thoughts to try to not feel bad, I want you to put a 1 in the chat. No, I want you to put a 2 in the chat. If you've ever tried to suppress your thoughts to avoid not feeling bad, I want you to put a 2 in the chat. Hurry, 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 hurry. Good. Make sure I'm talking to the right people. I explained this analogy that made this make crystal sense. Let's say you're in a swimming pool. You're in the swimming pool and I'm standing on the outside. And you're in the pool and I take a beach ball that has been inflated and I throw it in the pool. And I throw it to you. And you're standing in the pool, you got the beach ball. And you take that beach ball and you push that beach ball underwater. Is the beach ball going to stay underwater? Analogy Prince, y'all. I'm here. Is that beach ball going to stay underwater? No. No. Now, it will stay as long as you push it under. It will stay as long as you force it under. But when you take your hands off that beach ball is going to pop back up to the top of the water. The beach ball is your thought. The suppression is you pressing the ball under the water. Does it take effort and energy to hold the ball under the water? Yes. It takes effort and energy to suppress that ball under the water. More effort and energy than it does to stand there and let the ball float. This is what thought suppression looks like. When you experience loss and you are trying to suppress your thoughts to feel better, it is like taking a beach ball and pushing it under the water and holding it there and hoping it will stay, not realizing you are absolutely exerting more energy trying to hide it than you are to just let it be. Watch this though. You ready? This is where it gets crazy. My client lost her mind when I put it this way. I expanded that. She said, oh my God, Doc, I get that. I said, let's take it a step further. If you're an overthinker, I want you to put a 3 in the chat. Watch this. This is going to wear y'all out. Come on. You got to be honest to be on my channel. If you are an overthinker or have been accused of being one, or you can be honest enough and admit that you have been one, or maybe you deal with overthinking, put a 3 in the chat. Watch this. You ready? You know what suppressing your thoughts look like for an overthinker? Some of y'all should know where I'm going. Suppressing your thoughts for an overthinker looks like this. It looks like me standing outside the pool, you're in the pool, and I don't throw 1 beach ball in there, I throw 10. Watch. I throw 10 beach balls. Y'all ain't supporting this show. I'm taking this live down. Ain't no way y'all getting this on repeat. I throw 10 beach balls in the water. And here you are trying to suppress your thoughts. Every beach ball represents a thought.
And you're trying to suppress all your thoughts, and this is what you're doing. You're running around the pool trying to put everything under the water. Imagine you standing in the middle of a pool, and I've thrown 10 beach balls in there, and you're trying to get them all under the water at the same time. What does that look like? Chaos. Complete and utter chaos. And the best thing to do if you're standing in the water and 10 beach balls have been thrown to you is do what? Let them float. Watch. My client said, well, then, doc, how do you do that? How do you deal with the thoughts of those beach balls that are just floating in the water? How do you address? Don't you feel overwhelmed to be surrounded by all of these beach balls that are floating? How are you going to address it? Simple. You grab the ball that's in front of you, you take it, and you open that thing that releases the air, and you let the air go out. And while the air is going out of that one, you grab another ball, and you take that one, and you pull it back, and you let the air go out of that one. The best way to defeat overthinking so you can manage your emotions is to manage one thought at a time. Now, I got to put this ball out. I got to do this ball. I got to do this ball. One ball at a time. And once you've got a grip on that ball and you see that the air is coming out of that thought and that thought is getting smaller, set that thought down and go deal with your next one. And before you know it, if you just deal with the 10 beach balls one at a time and you're slowly letting the air out of each ball, you will look around and be standing in a pool with a bunch of deflated beach balls that you defeated one beach ball at a time. The opposite of thought suppression is addressing your thoughts one at a time. I want you to record that now. Some of y'all ain't got this much therapy in 15 years. The opposite of thought suppression is managing one thought at a time. The opposite of thought suppression is simply managing one thought at a time. That's it. That's all, y'all. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Why is this important? Because then it helps us to, in managing one thought at a time, not allow those thoughts to consume us so that our emotions go off the rail. One of the beach balls in the water might be somebody leaving you. Another beach ball might be problems you're having with your kids. Another beach ball might be issues with your career and hating your job that you work. The beach balls that are in your water are the issues associated with your life too. But the way they don't overwhelm you emotionally so that you get into this deep sadness funk is not by paying attention to how many beach balls you got in the water, but dealing with them one thing at a time. So you'll never suppress thoughts in a healthy way. I don't care what nobody told you. You will never suppress thoughts in a healthy way. Thought suppression and healthy are not agreeable. Salt and vinegar. No, oil and vinegar. Oil and water. Yin and yang. They will never agree. So what does then beating your deep sadness look like? As if you ain't got enough. Let me give you 15 minutes. I'm going to run over. I ain't packed a thing tonight. Nothing. And I got a flight in a couple of hours. Chicago going to be mad if I miss that flight tomorrow. Oh, I got to work out twice in the morning too. This is going to be a long couple of hours. Long 24 hours. Are y'all listening? So what does beating this look like? Let me give you two things I want you to think about. In addition to everything that I've said to you. Some of y'all still think you need that medicine, by the way. I'm not being facetious and I'm not being petty. I'm low-key kind of being petty. Some of y'all still think you need the meds. Some of y'all still think you're battling depression. You sure you battling it? Thank you, Caitlin. I appreciate you. Thank you for your support always. Moderating, you do everything so well. Appreciate you. Huh? Let me give you two things I want you to think about that will help you with your depression. Take your meds. I'm not going to be petty. I'm just not going to be petty. I'm not going to do it because y'all are flagged. I'm already on the watch list, the social media watch list for you sensitive folks out here. But some of you are going to live and die on your meds. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying it to be honest. You like being a victim and you don't want to be saved. And I don't know any other way to plainly explain to you, more plainly than I did tonight, that depression is really normal. It became a thing when y'all made it abnormal. Oh my God. That's all. So I'm gonna let y'all be that, okay? Just be that for the rest of your life. Okay? Let me say this. There are two things that you can do to beat this for those of you that don't want to take your meds for the rest of your life. The two things you can do to beat this. Number one, life alignment. Come on, put it in the chat. You're going to be the smartest person in the one. Life alignment. Life alignment. Life alignment is a number one way you can beat deep sadness. How? Well, Doc, what is life alignment? Well, let's start with what alignment is. Alignment means that what you say, come on, write this in your chat, in your notes. Alignment, I define alignment. Thank you so much, Miss Agnes, for your support always. I define alignment as when what you say, what you do, and what you believe are on the same page. When what you say, what you do, and what you believe are on the same page, you're living an aligned life. So then what is life alignment? Life alignment will help with your depression, your deep sadness. When it comes to every area of your life, what you say, what you do, and what you believe agree. I want you to put this in the chat now. Authenticity will fix 80% of your challenges with depression. Authenticity will fix 80% of your challenges with depression. Huh? Being authentic, Doc, is greater than my meds? Yeah. At least 80% of it. Mm-hmm. Authenticity will fix 80% of your problems. You know, the doctors, the prescribers, they don't talk to you about this stuff. Here, take this medicine. 80% of your problems. And let me just put this in normal language so you get it. Not only is it normal to feel depression, sadness when you experience loss, can I take it a step further? Not only is it normal for you to feel sadness when you experience loss, it is normal for you to feel depressed when your life ain't aligned. Oh my God. Not only is it normal for you to feel sadness when you experience loss, it is normal for you to feel sad when you ain't got no alignment. When you saying one thing, believing one thing, and doing something else. Because here's the breaking news. You ought to feel depressed. If you say you want peace, you believe you deserve peace, but you stay in relationships that ain't giving you peace. Oh my God. Oh my God, Doc, I'm so depressed. I'm battling depression. How's your relationship going? It's a mess. Didn't you tell me you value peace? I do. I believe I deserve peace. I want peace for my life. Peace belongs to me. I say I want peace. I believe I want peace. How's your relationship? Oh, it's hell. It's drama every day. And you still in it? You still in that relationship? If you stay in it, you ought to be depressed. Oh my God. Some of you are simply depressed because of the choices you make. Life alignment fixes 80% of your problems. And some of these excuse making, want to keep you on meds for the rest of your life folks that love to give you medication, instead of giving you practical tools with the medication you're going to take so you can get off of it, they just say, take this. Instead of your counselor, therapist, or whatever saying to you, why don't you try to create some life alignment? So that if you say you want one thing and you believe you deserve that thing, but you doing everything else, then maybe if you fix that, then maybe your thoughts and your emotions will agree. Hey, do me a favor, because somebody needs to see it. Put it in all capital letters. Levels. There's levels to this. Levels. All caps. Levels. 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 This is why many of you will be in therapy for 20 years on your medication. Oh my God. Life alignment, y'all, fixes 80% of your problems. I'm speaking from a data standpoint. I'm not making this up and throwing this out the air. One of the hacks that I've used to get people in a better place where they've tossed their meds and they are years without it and doing just fine is to start living an authentic life. Because you can't cry about a sadness that you won't make a decision to do something about when you are fully aware of what you're doing. Let me say that slow. You can't cry about a sadness you won't do something about that you are fully aware is a problem. Self-awareness fixes a lot of this. And I'm telling you now, how do you expect your mind, emotions, and body to respond when there ain't no agreement? You know, we talk a lot in this space now. You know, the sexy thing to talk about now is nervous system. So everybody's on this nervous system tip. Most people don't even realize how this works. Everybody's on this nervous system. Oh, I'm listening to my nervous system. Thank you, B. Irvin, for your support. I appreciate you. Everybody's on this nervous system tip. Oh, my nervous system. I'm listening to my nervous system, and my nervous system is telling me, you know, don't do what. Okay, great. I have no problem with that. But do you know how that really works? Your nervous system starts to speak when your mind, your emotions, your body not on the same page. Ain't no agreement. So if your mind is telling you the relationship is trash, your emotions are telling you the relationship is trash, but your body is saying they fulfilled this need, I'm gonna stay. You're not being authentic. You're not living an aligned life. And guess what? You're going to be depressed. And guess what? That's normal. That's normal. If you are depressed and you choose to stay in something you know is not serving you, but in the same breath, you claim that you deserve better, and you say you want better, but you said you want better, you believe you deserve better, but your actions are that you stay, you're going to be depressed, and you deserve to be. Oh my God, Doc, you're the worst. How dare you tell people they deserve to be depressed? I just did. JJ Pose. I just did. I just told you you deserve to be depressed. If, with self-awareness, you can say you want peace, you believe you deserve peace, but you stay in unpeaceful situations, you deserve the depression you get. that's I'm such a natural taunter. I got to stop being such a natural taunter. You made that choice. You deserve that. The old people used to call that needless pain. You know what needless pain is? It's pain you don't have to deal with. It's pain you don't have to really go through. It's pain that you choose to accept. And in many cases, you create. Yeah. So I'm telling you right now, it's normal to feel depressed when your life ain't aligned. When what you say, what you do, and what you believe, when what you say, what you believe, and what you do don't agree, you can expect not only no alignment, you can expect to be depressed. And that's the way it's supposed to be. So one easy hack where you can fix some of this deep sadness you're dealing with right now, sit down on a piece of paper. Let me make up a little diagram real quick. I've never done this. Yeah, honestly, it's very refreshing if you want it. Let's see. How can I diagram this? Say, do, believe. Watch this. Let me give you a chart that you can put into your journal. I'm going to make this up. I've never done this before. I've never made an alignment chart. I'm going to have to patent this too, so y'all don't start stealing. No more than what you already are. Oh my God. Let me make an alignment chart. Watch this. Let's make an alignment chart. Watch. Thing, want, let's say, do, let's see, thing, what we want, say, and see what we want. Y'all just bear with me. I'm setting it up. This is going to make sense in a minute. I'm going to help y'all start beating your depression tonight. You don't even have to go to bed with this stuff. Starting tonight or tomorrow when you start journaling again. You ready? Give me a second. Yep, my doc is just processing. He's just processing. Let me stop clowning. I gotta stop doing this because I really be making people mad, and I'm kind of one of them people when I make you mad, I kind of like step on the gas, and it's a terrible thing. I be working on that. Why? Not because Doc's trying to be mean, because some of y'all just don't like the truth. Period. Some of you just don't like the truth. And the truth is either going to set you free or make you mad. And my job is not to be your friend. My job is to help you get free and heal. That's it. I don't care about nothing else. If I want a companionship, I get a dog. Oh my God. So let's talk about this. Let me show y'all a little thing. This is what I want y'all to do. I do need to pat. I want you to make a chart like this with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns and a small set of cells at the top, 5 cells at the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cells. Yeah, this is definitely salad worthy. Y'all better be supporting this show because I'm pouring in tonight and I ain't packed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cells, 5 columns. Okay? Just like this. Y'all with me? Everybody there? Now, go ahead and create some rows. You can do as many rows as you want to. I'm just going to do a handful of rows to show you what I'm trying to create here. Okay? Oh, man. Did I take my... I didn't even take my magnesium yet. That sucks. Y'all, I've been running my mouth and forgot to take my magnesium. Okay. Make as many rows as you want. I'm going to just make a couple of rows. I'm going to show you how you can create some life alignment immediately. And I'm going to give you the second way you can make some corrections, and then I'm done. I'm going to let you go. What time is it? 11:16. We'll be done by 11:30. Give you a bonus 30 minutes tonight because it's this important, and I'm not going to do part 2 next week. We're going to move on to something else. Is this helpful? Has this been helpful so far? I know some of y'all upset with Doc. I don't care. I love y'all. I love y'all. If I didn't, I wouldn't tell you the truth. I'd just let you be living in fantasy, in your little fantasy land, comfortable. Y'all, Doc is sorry. He's moving a little slow tonight. My glasses coming on the bottom of my nose like an old grandpa. All right. You make as many rows as you want. I'm going to make some big rows just for the sake of time. Okay. Now, at the top of this page, let's fill this in. Let me get a different Sharpie. Let's go with blue. Okay. So, in essence, your chart's going to look something like this, right? But let's fill this in so you can see where I'm going with this. In the top left cell, we're going to start at the top. I'm going to walk you across some things that I want you to put up here. In the top left cell, I want you to put issue. Write the word issue. Okay? Write the word issue. Top left cell. Life Extension is the brand of magnesium that I use. I have a friend that is a nurse. She turned me on to this about 2 years ago, and I've been hooked. It is the best, to me, the most purest form. Life Extension. You can find it on Amazon. Just go to Amazon, type in Life Extension Magnesium, and I love it. It is the best version. I love it. Okay, issue. The next column, I want you to write need. Okay, issue. Then I want you to write need. Okay? And then I want you to write say. This is so practical. Like I feel like I'm teaching third graders. This is practical, but it works. I'm not being insulting. I was telling somebody today, stop being so, a client, I had to get on it. Stop being so complicated with your life. Simplify this stuff. Because there's freedom and simplicity. Say, so issue, need, say, believe, issue, need, say, believe. Last column, do. Let me give you an example of how this can work. Okay, you ready? Let me give you an example of how this can work. I want you to put under issue. I'm just going to use this as an example. Don't fill in your box. I don't want you to do this, okay? Because I don't want you to mess up your chart. Let me give you an example. Let's just say your issue is a relationship. You're going to evaluate the relationship that you're in. So the issue is a relationship, okay? And I'm going to evaluate my relationship. What is it that I need for that relationship? Well, you can fill that in and put everything that you need. Well, I need peace, respect. I'm just making this up, y'all. This is just an example. And I need maturity. Those are the things that I need from my relationship. Okay? My issue is my relationship. What do I need? Peace, respect, maturity. Now, it's as simple. The rest of the columns are as simple as checks and X's. Well, am I saying, have I verbalized to myself and perhaps to the person I'm in a relationship that I need that? We're going to put a check in there. Yes. Let's say you told your partner that. I need peace, respect, and maturity. You've told yourself that. You've journaled about it. You have identified that as a part of your values. So you've said it. Do you believe you really deserve it? That column is almost always going to be a check. Because most people don't create needs without believing they deserve it. We already know what the big column is going to be. Well, do I have peace? Do I have respect? Do I have maturity in the relationship? If this is a check, that relationship should not be throwing you out of alignment. Because what you're saying, what you're believing, and what you're doing, you're staying in there. You have these things, so you stay. You should be good. But if that relationship does not have peace, respect, and maturity, and you stay, you put an X right there. The only way we can have alignment with these issues is when for every issue we write down, we have 3 checks. Not 2.5, not 1, not 1 3/4. You need 3 checks to have alignment with every issue related to your life. And guess what? If you have an item that doesn't have 3 checks, that item is on the chopping board. It's up for evaluation. How hard is that, y'all? How hard is that? So alignment fixes a big part of your issue. Secondly and finally, because I got to go. It's 11:23. Secondly and finally, and wow, we still have just over 500 people still on all the networks. Thank y'all. For 2 hours. Doc, don't do 15-minute videos. They don't listen. That's what y'all said. Doc, don't record videos from your car because it's not professional. Now everybody's sitting in their car trying to record videos that go viral. Oh my God. I got better advice. Why don't you just be authentic and be yourself? How about that? Because authenticity always wins. Let me give you the second thing so I can stop taunting some of y'all. Life alignment is number one. Here's the second thing that you can do to beat depression. I call it mind dash body dash spirit. Mind, body, spirit. Here's the reality. When your mind, we are all what is called a triune nature. Triune. We are a triune nature. It's greater than your religion. It's greater than where you from. It's greater than where you were born and raised. All of us are triune natures. Three, which means we're composed of three things: mind, body, spirit. Watch. Mind, body, spirit. Why is this important? Well, you should expect to live longer when, much like alignment, your mind, your body, and your spirit agree on all things. When your mind, body, and spirit agree on all things, you should naturally feel better. You should naturally be in a better place. Had a sweet client, I had to correct her, older, who said to me recently, Doc, she made some mistakes in her past and she's working on healing those mistakes with the people she's wronged. She's really a very sincere and sweet lady. She's made some tangible steps. We worked through some things to start moving that direction towards reconciliation. She did that. Now I'm teaching her how to let go. But she made a statement that I've heard several clients correct, and hers was really meant a lot to me just because of the nature of the things that she's dealing with, where she said, Doc, I'm just at a place now where I feel like because I'm older that I have more days behind me than I do ahead of me. Because of all of the decisions that I made in my past, I have more days behind me. And because of my old age, I have more days behind me than I do days ahead of me. I don't agree with that statement. I believe that when you get your mind, body, and spirit on the same page, you press what I call a spiritual reset button. You absolutely press what I call a spiritual reset button. Where the latter years of your life can be more fulfilling and perhaps even longer than the former years of your life. We cannot equate age. We cannot equate age to our ability to defeat deep sadness, i.e., depression. Why? Because if we think that just because we're younger, we have more days ahead of us than behind us, then explain to me why all these young people out here acting like fools, killing themselves and killing everybody else, and not living a long time or throwing their lives away, having to go to jail because of the decisions that they make. I'll tell you why. Because they're making these decisions because their mind, body, and spirit don't agree. And when your mind, body, and spirit don't agree, your behavior is going to follow suit. I want you to record that. That might be the last note I give you. When your mind, body, and spirit don't agree, your behavior will follow suit. And this is why you got a lot of young people, 16, 19, 20, making dumb decisions and throwing away the rest of their lives. And meanwhile, here you are in your 30s, 40s, 50s. You feel like you didn't live more than half of your life, and you decided to align your life up. You've decided to do this healing work mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially. You've decided to put your life on the same page, mind, body, and spirit. And you're thinking, oh my God, I'm 40, I'm 50, I'm 60. The worst of the shortest part of my life is now ahead of me. No. I'm here to tell you that when you begin to line your life up, you get your mind, body, and spirit on the same page. When what you say, what you do, and what you believe all agree, I believe that the last days of your life can be sweeter and longer and more fulfilling than the first days. And here's the beautiful thing. When you get into life alignment, I believe God can slow the time down. Hey, atheists, Buddhists, Muslims, I've got all kinds of people on the live tonight. Clientele, I love you guys. You guys, it is such an honor that you come to me to help you work through some of your life challenges, and I'm grateful for it. But allow me to just be a believer for a second. Let me tell you something. When you get your life into alignment, I believe God slows time down. I'm telling you, when I healed mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, it felt like I was floating in slow motion. And I'm here to tell you that when you get some life alignment in your life don't feel like chaos and it's going hectic and helter-skelter. Life feels like you're floating on air. And life feels more complete and more sweet because you have complete joy. What you're saying, what you're doing, what you're believing on the same page. And if you don't believe it, try this list right here. Figure out what's in alignment and what's not. Figure out what's in alignment and what's not, and move the stuff that ain't, and watch how you start feeling. Watch how much sweeter dinner is when you ain't worried about stuff in your life that ain't got alignment. Watch how much calmer and peaceful simple things are, like taking a shower or sitting down watching a television show, when you don't have stuff in your life that's out of alignment. Your mind, body, and spirit, when they start to agree, I'm here to tell you, life gets better. And believers recognize this, because when we say stuff like, the latter days will be greater than the former, I will restore unto you the years that the locust, the cankerworm, the caterpillar, the palmer worm had devoured. You're going to build houses in places that don't belong to you. You're going to eat food in spaces that weren't yours. This is called reaping the benefits of life alignment. That for us as believers, as God, for some of y'all as Buddha, it's the universe, whatever it is that you believe in. But for us, some of us is, most of us, a lot of us is God, that he absolutely redeems the time when you get these things in order. When what you say and what you believe and what you do start to agree. Yes, I know you was in a 15-year relationship that tanked and you feel like you've wasted 15 years of your life, but trust me on this. If you make the decision to look at that 15-year relationship that ain't aligning with your needs, and you say, you know what, there ain't no alignment, I'm gonna walk away from 15 years. It's natural to think you've wasted 15 years. Here's the good news. When you create some alignment, God will give you the 15 years back. Doc, you mean tell me he's going to give you 15 years? How he's going to do that, Doc? You can't go back 15 years in age. No. What he'll do is he'll slow the next 15 down. Man, this right here, this is, somebody type in the chat, levels real fast. This levels to this. No, he ain't going to. If you 50, he's not going to reset your age to 35. But what he'll do is he'll allow the age of 50 to 60 to go slower. Because you don't have the stress you used to have, because now your life is in alignment. You got checks across all the boxes. Your goal is to put checks in all the boxes. That's how you can beat depression. Any questions? Was this helpful? Listen, y'all, I need y'all to support the show. I have people that have tuned in, that have sent me notes. Doc, I really need this. Somebody even said, what does it take for you to leave this up? I got to go to work. There are people that really need this. I need y'all to support this show tonight. I hope this was helpful. If you have not purchased a ticket to Chicago, I need you to do that. I'm going to be in Chicago this Saturday for the Self-Awareness Tour. I'm excited about it. And I'm going to be in Charlotte in August, and I should be announcing more dates. I'm hoping next week is the goal for a few more cities for the fall to wrap up the tour for 2025, and it's going to end in Atlanta in December, and I'm excited about that, where it started. And so I should have some more information about all of that. But I want you to support the show. I hope this was helpful. I hope it was practical. Support this so I can leave it up. Because y'all, I'm just telling you, life alignment fixes a lot. Life alignment fixes a lot. And you can get out of a lot of stuff when what you say, what you do, and what you believe just start agreeing. Okay? It's really that simple. All right. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I got to go. I got to pack. I ain't touched no clothes. I ain't done nothing. Which it's a short trip. It's business trip, so it goes by really fast. So that's the easier part. But I got to get to Chicago, and I'm excited about it. And yeah, I'm gonna get my 2 workouts in the morning because I can't wait to eat. Love y'all. Rooting for you. Have a tremendous weekend. Again, support the show. Yes, I hope to have dates for Dallas really soon. I've got to follow up with someone that I want to lead that city, and I know she's probably waiting on me to follow up, and I have not forgotten. I've just been slammed. So I've got a lot of things to do. But I'm going to do that. Appreciate your support. Thank you for your prayers, as always. And subscribers, I'll see you Monday. If you have not subscribed to Patreon or Instagram, do that right away. We are dealing with attachment styles the entire summer. And so we'll be there Monday, and I can't wait to work with you. Okay. Enjoy your home city of Chicago. I'm in Dallas. I'll attend. Very good, Jones. I appreciate you so much and look forward to seeing you in Dallas for sure. All right, y'all. Peace and blessings. Have a good night. Talk to you soon. Take care.